I'm just gonna open it up randomly. I know the other one had. I read it yesterday. The facet of the investigation, more than any other, was proof to us that judgeships were for sale in Brooklyn. I could not wait to get this trial going. I knew it would prove the same to the voters. Before we announced the indictments, dot, dot, dot. I just opened this up. I've only read the front cover and a little bit of the introduction. Is that the current we're on? Hmm? See, it's one of these things that the longer the game goes on, the less likely you can say that there's plausible deniability. You know, I did this thing at one point in time. I was looking for a piece of legislation online, and when it was online on the congressional website, it was formatted in one manner, but there was a sponsor. And when you went to the official website for the sponsor of this bill, who was a congressperson, the website featured the bill with certain areas and parts of it accepted out in green font. I said, is this congressperson trying to arrange some form of green bond in connection with a public notice on this website? Was there a bond issue at that time that took the areas in that bill that were presented on the congressperson's website in green font and made them special accounts as part of a green bond? Yeah, I absolutely believe that's what happened. And that's how there are certain people in Congress now that are wearing the profiles and the lives and actually using things like medical billings and actual former job roles of other people from other parts of the country as what they try to get away with calling their political action as a member of Congress. And this goes on both sides of the aisle. It is as if there was a certain group of people specifically strategically targeted to have their political rights dispossessed of them in 2008. And by the time 2016 came along, you did the same thing with a different group of people. It was just as racist, but it was a different demographic of race and different demographics targeted with racism. And it was more public. Neither case it was intelligence. In neither case was it about spying. At least not in concerning the people accused of being the spies or being mentally incapacitated for the purposes of engaging with informed consent in any sort of contract, up to and including a contract intended to dispossess them of their constitutional rights and obligate them to terms that violate both the 14th and, it appears, also the 13th Amendment of the Constitution. Period. Did Omar Lopez win? Did Omar Lopez win in Chicago, Illinois in 2008? And have you guys all been lying about it ever since? How many other Green Party candidates won their actual congressional races in 2008? But were allowed to be dispossessed not only of their role as a representative, but a lot of other factors connected to their life. While people that were involved in their campaigns in absolute no intent to violate the law or conspire in anything close to this level, tortured for over a decade, while you let them turn Congress into nothing more than a bad, poorly managed bucket shop. I'm serious. Is that what's going on today? You had a $52 million bust in Texas for a nurse practitioner. What kind of nurse practitioner can hustle a $52 million settlement for insurance fraud? I don't friggin' think so? Did Omar Lopez win his congressional race in 2008? Did you proceed to torture him and his campaign staff for the last 13 years? That means every election since 2008 has been 100% fraudulent. And anybody in Congress or the Senate, much less the office of the president, that accepted such fraudulent terms as part of an election process and just refused to say anything about it is a charlatan and an infiltrator of the government. Under whose authority do you think you were authorized to commit a political coup and then torture the people of the United States? You do understand, we've pissed off a lot of people in the world. You had no right to insult the people of your own country, regardless of what country it is. Every time you go and play like you're representing the United States on behalf of another country, and you do it this badly, you end up insulting your own country as well. If Omar Lopez won his congressional race, you are going to need to announce that as soon as possible, and you are going to need to actually file criminal charges in these regards. Is that what Rod Blagojevich was talking about? Was Rod Blagojevich retaliated against for attempting to bring attention to election fraud in 2008? Was Barack Obama and his campaign auctioning off more than just the statuses of people running for Congress? What core constituencies did he determine were to be made available for his administrative priorities? How many of you co-conspired? No. How many of you agreed to swap seats with people that were kidnapped and tortured in their own country and masquerade this whole time that you had any political legitimacy? This is worse than narco-terrorism. But if we got to start somewhere, I think it's appropriate.